My grandma warned me since I was a kid, never answer a door that knocks on its own. I laughed it off, until the night it knocked. There was no one there. Just silence. Then the second knock came, from inside the house. I grew up in a town so small that most people passed through without realizing it had a name, Millbrook, population 3,217. Nothing ever really happened here, except maybe the occasional car accident or gossip-worthy scandal involving the local pastor. That's why what I'm about to tell you, no one believes. Except maybe my grandma, well, if she were still alive. She was the first person who told me about the knocking. If you ever hear 3 knocks in the dead of night, and there's no one outside, promise me something, she'd say with a trembling hand on my shoulder. Don't open the door. No matter what. I was 10 when she first told me that. I thought it was just another one of her ghost stories, the kind she'd use to make us finish dinner early or stay inside after dark. But her face when she told me that was different. Her eyes didn't blink. Her hands trembled as if they were remembering something. She died when I was 16. No cause. Just, gone. Found in her living room. Front door wide open. I moved back into her house this summer. Rent-free, since she left it to my mother. I was 25, broke, and in need of a place to work remotely without distraction. The town was still dead quiet. A gas station, a diner, and a post office. That's about it. The house hadn't changed much. It was old, creaky, with yellow wallpaper and an attic that smelled like mothballs and forgotten time. I set up my desk in her study room, the same room she used to read horror novels in until the early morning hours. Things were normal the first 2 weeks. Until the knock. It was around 2:40 a.m. on a Wednesday. I remember the exact time because I'd just finished a Zoom meeting with my overseas client and was shutting down my laptop when I heard it. Knock. 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 3 knocks. Slow. Heavy. Deliberate. I froze. Not because someone was at the door, people do that. Even in Millbrook. But because of the sound. It didn't come from the front door. It came from the side door, the one that opened out to the woods. The one no one ever used. The one my grandma had nailed shut from the inside years ago. I grabbed my phone and crept toward it. I half expected to find a raccoon or maybe a fallen branch had hit the wood. But when I turned on the porch light and looked through the small side window, there was no one there. Just the trees. Still. Quiet. Dead. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was scared, that's what I told myself, but because I couldn't explain it. Why would someone knock on a door that no one used? The next day, I checked the security camera I had installed above the main entry. Nothing. Not even a flicker. I checked the backyard cam. Also nothing. The side door? No camera. Of course. I should have left it at that. Chalked it up to wind or paranoia. But I didn't. The next night, I stayed up. No work. Just watched Netflix with one ear tuned to the silence of the house. At exactly 2:40 a.m. Knock. 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 Same door. Same number of knocks. I ran to it this time. Flung the door open. No one. Not even footprints in the dew-covered grass. The air was cold and motionless. I swear I could hear the blood in my ears pounding louder than my heartbeat. I stood there for a minute, just listening. And that's when I heard something new. Not a knock. A whisper. From the woods. A low, drawn-out whisper that sounded like it came from under the earth. Let me in. I slammed the door and locked it, every bolt and latch. Then I moved the old wooden bookshelf from the hallway and wedged it against the frame. I slept in the study that night. With the light on. The next morning, I called my mom. Did Grandma ever talk about the side door? I asked. Silence on the line. She told you about the knocking, didn't she? Yeah. I thought she was messing with me. She wasn't. My mom's voice dropped. She said it started when she was your age. Every few years, it came back. Always 3 knocks. Same time. Did she ever open it? No, my mom whispered. She said if you open it once, it keeps coming back. More often. Closer. Until it's already inside. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to believe it was a coincidence. A prank. A wiring glitch in the house, maybe. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. And then came night 3. I didn't stay up this time. I couldn't. I was too tired. I fell asleep on the couch, TV still playing, my phone on my chest. Until I woke up at exactly 2:40 a.m. to a sound. Not knocking, but breathing, coming from the inside of the house. I sat up. The TV was off. The room was dark. I heard floorboards creaking down the hall, slow steps, like someone was trying not to wake me. I held my breath. The breathing grew louder. Then it stopped. Right behind me. And then, knock, 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 on the living room wall. From inside the house. I didn't scream. I didn't even turn around. I just sat there, paralyzed, staring ahead in the dark. Someone, had just knocked from inside the house, only inches from where I was sitting. But there was nothing behind me. Or at least, nothing I could see. The knock was too deliberate to be settling wood. Too heavy to be anything but a human hand, or something pretending to have one. After what felt like forever, I finally stood up. Every muscle in my body protested. I was shaking, trying to move slowly, quietly. I grabbed the flashlight app on my phone and turned it on. The beam cut through the darkness. The room was empty. I checked the walls. Nothing, no hole, no loose panel. Just old paint and wallpaper. Then I noticed something strange. The grandfather clock in the corner, the one that hadn't worked in years, was ticking. I went closer. It read exactly 2:43 a.m. The time the knocking had ended. I didn't sleep. Again. That morning, I called in sick to work. I didn't care if I lost my job. Something was wrong with the house. Something was wrong with me. Every sound became a threat. The creak of the floor, the hum of the fridge, the rustle of the trees outside, it all felt like it was watching, waiting. Like the house was breathing. By noon, I had made up my mind, I was going to leave. I started packing my bags. Laptop, chargers, clothes. I'd come back in daylight with my uncle or someone from town and check things out properly. But when I grabbed my car keys and opened the front door, the world outside was gone. I'm not exaggerating. There was nothing beyond the porch. No trees. No driveway. No street. Just thick black fog swirling in every direction. I blinked hard. Stepped back. Opened and closed the door again. Still fog. I couldn't see more than 5 feet ahead. The house was floating in an endless void. I stood on the porch and yelled, "Hello? Anyone out there?" No response. Just the sound of the wind, and a soft, distant knock. I turned toward it. It was coming from upstairs. I bolted back inside and locked the door. Every instinct in me screamed to run, to leave, to fight, but where would I go? I couldn't even see the damn trees anymore. I crept up the staircase, one step at a time. My phone flashlight scanned each wall as I went. Everything looked wrong. The photos in the hallway? The faces had no eyes. The mirror outside the bathroom? It reflected a different hallway. I swallowed hard and reached the top floor. Knock. 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 It was coming from the attic door. The attic had always creeped me out. My grandma used to keep it locked, claiming she had bad memories up there. Now it was unlocked. Hanging slightly open. I stared at the handle. I could feel something breathing behind that door. A heat. A presence. "Don't open the door," my grandma's voice echoed in my memory. But this wasn't the door. This was just the attic. Right? I raised my hand. The knocking stopped. Silence. I pushed the door gently open. The flashlight barely pierced the attic's darkness, illuminating dust-covered trunks and old rocking chairs. Something scurried across the floor, too fast, too low. I pointed the light at it. Nothing. Just shadows. Then I saw it, on the far wall, just above an old wooden chest. A set of scratch marks. 3 vertical gouges in the wall. Fresh. As if someone, or something, had clawed it recently. And written beneath it, in faded red letters, were the words. I stumbled backward and nearly fell down the attic steps. Slamming the door behind me, I bolted it shut with an old broom handle. Back in the hallway, I noticed something else was off. The door to my study, the one I'd been using to work, was now wide open. I knew I'd closed it. On the desk sat my laptop, glowing faintly. It was open to a Zoom call. Except I hadn't started one. And the screen, it showed me. Live feed. From inside the room. Except, I wasn't alone in the frame. There was someone standing behind me. A dark, twisted figure, tall, pale, with limbs too long and face obscured by static. I spun around. Empty. I turned back to the screen. The figure was now closer. Its hand was reaching toward the camera lens. Then the feed cut to black. And a message popped up. Do not open. Do not open. Do not open. I shut the laptop and screamed. I wanted out. I didn't care about the fog. I didn't care what was outside. I ran to the front door, threw it open. And the fog was gone. The neighborhood was back. Trees. Road. Sky. Everything normal. I stepped outside, gasping for air like a drowning man. Cars passed by. Birds chirped. Morning light flooded the street. For a second, I thought it was all a dream. Then I turned to look at the house. The side door was open. And carved into the frame, fresh and deep, were the words, "See you tomorrow?" I didn't sleep. Again. That morning, I didn't even go back inside the house. I sat in my car in the driveway until the sun was high and my hands stopped shaking. I kept checking the side door. It stayed wide open like a gaping mouth, daring me to return. By 3 p.m., I made my decision. I wasn't spending another night there. I packed the essentials, phone, laptop, wallet, and left everything else behind. I booked a room in town, a cheap motel off the highway. Far enough that I couldn't see the house. Far enough, I hoped, that the knocking couldn't follow. I slept like the dead. For one night. The next morning, I got a call from my mom. "You didn't sleep in the house last night, did you?" "No." "Why?" Her voice trembled. "I had the dream again." I froze. "What dream?" "The door, the one that knocks itself. I saw you open it. I saw what was behind it." I woke up screaming. "What did you see?" I whispered. She didn't answer. Just hung up. I didn't go back to the house. Not for days. I tried to convince myself that it was done, that whatever had followed me was gone. But then the knocking returned. Not at the house. At the motel. Knock. 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 2:40 a.m. Every single night. At the door. The wall. The mirror. Sometimes even the floor beneath my bed. I tried switching rooms. Then hotels. It followed. Then it got bold. It started showing itself. Quick glimpses in dark reflections. A shadow that lingered behind my shoulder just a second too long. My phone's front camera flickered on by itself, sometimes recording me without prompt. One night, I replayed one of the videos. In the background, something crawled across the ceiling above me. Thin. Pale. Bone-like fingers. Hollow eyes. I dropped the phone and vomited. The worst part? It started speaking. At first, it was just whispers. Murmurs while I showered, murmurs in the hum of the vending machine outside. Then one night I woke up with it sitting on my chest. Its face only inches from mine. No eyes. Just a split in its head where a mouth should be, stretching sideways, full of jagged bone. And it whispered. "You opened it, so now I stay." I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't scream. Then, like fog, it vanished. I needed help. I went to a local priest, a small, quiet man named Father Caldwell. I didn't tell him everything, just enough to make him believe I needed something blessed. He came with me to the house. The place looked abandoned, worse than I'd left it. The grass was dead. The windows dark. When he stepped inside, he paused. "It's heavy here," he said quietly. We did a walkthrough. He sprinkled holy water. Prayed softly. I could see the hairs on his neck stand up when we reached the study. "Something came through," he whispered. "Through what?" He turned to me. "What door did you open?" My blood went cold. I didn't. I don't think I did. I opened the attic, the front, His eyes widened. "The knocking. Did you answer it?" Silence. I had. Twice. Even if I didn't open the door, I responded. I acknowledged it. Father Caldwell placed his hand on my shoulder. "You didn't open it with your hands. You opened it with attention." He tried cleansing the house. Stayed for hours. Said something ancient had slipped through the cracks. A thing that fed on curiosity, fear, and invitation. Ignore it. Forget it. Don't talk about it. If you speak of it, you feed it. I promised I wouldn't. But now, I'm telling you this. Why? Because ignoring it didn't work. Because last night, it stopped knocking. That sounds like a good thing, right? But it's not. Because it's already inside now. I woke up at 2:40 a.m. without the sound. Just a presence. Standing in the corner of my motel room. Still. Watching. I didn't move. I didn't blink. But I could feel its breath. It stepped forward. Closer. And then it spoke again. One more. One more knock. Then you're mine. Tonight is the last night. I've decided. I'm going back to the house. To the door. To finish this. It's 2:39 a.m. now. I'm standing in front of the side door again. It's closed. Silent. I've written this down as a warning, but also, as a confession. Because I think it's not about the door at all. It's about what we do when it knocks. We don't need to open it physically. We just need to listen. To be afraid. To wonder. And that's how it gets in. It's 2:40. And it's knocking. Knock. 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 I won't open it. But maybe you will. Because now? You've heard it too. Drop of blood, the end.